welcome back. Hope you enjoyed my best of 2016 video that's hopefully been out for a couple days now. I don't know when this is going up because I'm recording this on a Friday night, but I am here for my worst of 2016 video, and this is going to be a different tone than the best of video because these are movies that was not a fan of that came out in the year 2016. Originally, I wasn't even going to record this today. I was like, you know, I'm going to wait till another night because I want to go out tonight. Didn't end up going out, so I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on these terrible fucking movies with all of you, and it will be fun, hopefully at least for you. I might suffer just a little bit. Now, once again, just gotta get this out of the way. This is just my opinion. If you liked any of these movies, that is fine. You can like what you want. It's your opinion. Everything is subjective in this wonderful world of movies. But these movies, got really no enjoyment out of any of them, save for maybe a few minor things here and there, but was not a fan. There weren't many movies this year that I loathed, like despise, just get angry watching them, save for maybe the top two, but nothing truly downright offended me that I saw this year. There was a lot of shit I didn't see. I didn't go out of my way to see bad movies, save for a couple on this list, which I was just like, okay, I gotta watch this, just see how bad it is. But you'll notice there's no Independence Day Resurgence, there's no Gods of Egypt, there's nothing like that on this list because I simply did not see them. I'm not gonna do the here's the shit I didn't see that I did for the best of for this one, because if there's something you think sucked that isn't on this list, odds are I didn't see it, so that's why it's not on here. And because I didn't see enough movies to fill up a full top 10, this is only going to be a top 5. I apologize. Next year, hopefully, we'll get a top 10 for the worst. With that said, I do have one dishonorable mention, and that is, even though I like the movie to an extent, it's Suicide Squad. I like the characters that this movie presents. I like the performances. It has a killer soundtrack, but just story-wise, editing-wise, plot-wise, script-wise, this movie's just, it's just a mess. It's a mess of a movie. It's not a well-made film. I wouldn't even call it a good movie, although I did find it to be fun. I did get some enjoyment out of it. I did see it twice in the theaters, and it's something that I if I was forced to watch it, I wouldn't mind it, but it's nothing that I would like to hold in high regard. I wasn't a huge fan, and because it is, in all honesty, a mess of a movie, I had to put it on here as a dishonorable mention, although I felt like putting it in the actual top 5 I couldn't do because, like I said, I did get some enjoyment out of it. I was considering putting the Ghostbusters remake on here, even though I did give it a 7.5 because it's not the best movie, but I did like it when I saw it, even though I just think it's kind of a nothing movie at this point. I didn't feel it was worth including on the list. And with that being said, let's get into the real top 5. Number 5 is a movie that I originally gave a decent review to, but I was very hesitant in that review. It's arguably the most disappointing movie I've seen in years, and that is Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. While the DC fanboys are pointing their guns directly at my head, this movie, at least the theatrical run, I own the Ultimate Edition. I have not yet seen the Ultimate Edition. I'm waiting to watch it with my one friend, and I'll probably do a video on it at that point. But the theatrical version of this movie is a fucking mess. But not like Suicide Squad, where it's a mess that's held together by fun characters and an enjoyable soundtrack. With Batman v Superman, it just makes me angry at how much they've messed up this movie. The fact that Marvel can make a good movie about Ant-Man, Guardians of the Galaxy, all these obscure characters, and DC can't even get a fucking Superman movie right where he fights Batman, I don't get it. I have a lot of faith in the DC movies. I root for these movies. I was so hyped for this movie. I was so hyped for Suicide Squad. I honestly think Wonder Woman is going to be a very good movie. But Batman v Superman, just there's so much wrong with this movie. I said in my original review that there's so many good elements about this movie, but the movie itself is not good. I stand by that. I think Batman is great. Ben Affleck, in my mind, is the best on-screen Batman we've ever had. And the few seconds Wonder Woman shows up is great. But most of the Superman stuff I didn't like. Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, I'd like to forget about it. It's a bad sign when the theme song of the character and the musical score is better than the actual character itself. The fights with Batman and Superman were underwhelming as shit, and the final action scene is just a CGI, poorly edited mess of an action scene. The editing, oh god, this movie doesn't even feel like it was edited in chronological order, and it's not going for a non-linear plot, so that doesn't make fucking sense. It feels out of order when I'm watching this movie. The editing is atrocious. The hints they did to the Justice League, I liked it the first time I saw it, but when I said, how lazy are you that you have to open up a fucking folder on a computer screen and you show clips of Cyborg and the Flash and Aqua... God! Do I even have to mention the whole Martha scene? No. Just, I gave it a 7 out of 10 when I reviewed it, but if I were to go back, I'd probably give it around a 4. I'm so let down by this movie. It's just not good. Still have hope, though. Still have hope for these DC movies, but if they keep going down this path, I think they might need to reassess. Number 4 is another example of why Adam Sandler and Netflix are not a good mix, and that is The Do-Over. While it didn't piss me off like The Ridiculous Six did, if you saw my review, I was actually like, alright, this movie, like, it was not a good movie. It didn't offend me. I got a couple chuckles out of it. There was nothing that I got angry over, and I didn't get angry over this movie. It's just not good. This is not like The Ridiculous Six. With The Ridiculous Six, I gave a 1 out of 10 to. It was terrible. If I made my worst of list last year, it would have been about number 3 or number 2. It was just an awful, offensively bad movie. With this movie, it just felt like any other Adam Sandler comedy, and David Spade isn't funny in it. Adam Sandler is Adam Sandler. I can say enough with that. And honestly, I saw this movie back in, April, May? I barely remember what the hell the movie was about. All I know is that I just didn't like it the first time I saw it. It was enough to put it on this list. It's not, like I said, it's not horrendously bad. You can probably watch it if you're an Adam Sandler fan, but for me, because I hate Sandler and The Ridiculous Six was so bad, it was still hard to sit through despite it being more enjoyable than The Ridiculous Six. But when the best compliment I can give a movie is, hey, it wasn't as bad as The Ridiculous Six, it's saying something. I think we can just agree that Adam Sandler just needs to go away for a bit or try something different, because what he's doing right now is just not working, and I want it to go away. Number 3 was another movie I had really high hopes for, and that's the last movie you're going to see on this list that I had really high hopes for, but I was really hoping it would be good. All the pieces of the puzzle looked great, and that is Batman the Killing Joke. Had I not seen the 2 movies, I would have just cleared boredom. Like, I'm just going to watch this shit for some reason over the last couple weeks. This would be my number 1 of the year. You had all the pieces together. You had the original voice actors from Batman the Animated Series back for this movie in the terms of Batman and the Joker. You had the R rating, which means they could go all out with the source material, and you were telling one of the most beloved Joker stories of all time. What you end up getting is the first third of the movie is something that wasn't a part of the source material and was just made straight for the movie. And normally when adapting source material, I wouldn't have an issue with adding new things, but it was completely unneeded. The additions they made hurt the story more than helping it. And while it tried to get the audience more behind Barbara Gordon, it turned her into such an unlikable character. And the sex with Batman, was that needed at all to get us to get emotionally invested in Barbara Gordon? No, it was not. You could have added more to her character while making the thing that happens to her in the Killing Joke story still emotionally gripping, while not just throwing in an unnecessary love story with Batman. It wasn't needed. And I just think that this story didn't adapt well to screen. I wasn't invested in it. The ending was cool, I guess, but I was just watching this like, I'm bored. Joker flashbacks were nice, and it was nice hearing Mark Hamill as the Joker again, but it didn't feel like this movie adapted, this source material adapted well onto the big screen. I have not read The Killing Joke, but from what I've heard, this movie does not live up to the source material, and a lot of people I know that are huge fans of The Killing Joke despised this movie, so clearly they did something wrong here. And it really didn't need the R rating. Like, there was the one scene I referred to, and that was really it. Besides that, someone I think says fuck once in this movie, so like, it was an R rating to be an R rating. Like, it didn't need it, it didn't add anything, It could have easily been PG-13. It probably still would have been the same quality, maybe even a little bit better, to be completely honest. DC's usually great with their animation from what I've seen, and I'll admit that's very limited, but Batman the Killing Joke, it blew, guys. It was bad. But I heard Return of the Caped Crusaders was good, so that at least we got one good Batman movie this year. With my number 2, the one question that was running through my mind was, why did I watch this movie? And that was 9 Lives. Like how I saw Sing Street early Christmas morning, I watched 9 Lives early New Year's Day after I came home from a New Year's party, because I was like, you know what, I'm bored. Let's watch the movie where Kevin Spacey turns into a cat. I'm sure it will be laughably bad. And yeah, it was laughably bad. Because I'm not a cat owner, nothing offended me about this movie. Again, it's just, it's like the do-over where I was not offended. And there were a couple moments where I'm like, alright, that's not terrible. Like, I can see what they're trying to do here, but just the setup alone is enough to say this movie's gonna suck. And yeah, it's bad. It's pretty bad. Kevin Spacey, why? Why did you? I don't get that at all. Christopher Walken's in this movie. Stephen Amell's brother, who's fine and most stuff, is in this movie. Like, why are these people in it? And Jennifer Garner, I'm convinced that she just does not know how to pick movies, because she keeps picking shit over and over and over and over and over again. You had this, you had that the movie earlier this year, the Miracles from Heaven or whatever the hell that was. I thought Draft Day was okay, but like it was super cheesy. Like, she has such a passion for picking crap movies recently. Overall, it's a movie where Kevin Spacey turns into a cat because he works too hard. It's the most cliche movie you'll ever see in your damn life. You can predict this movie bullet by bullet by bullet. Although there's one aspect of this movie near the end that really threw me off. Like, wait a minute, this is a family movie and you're throwing this plot point in there? Like what? Also had the fact that this is probably intended for kids, and there's all this business talk and all this economics talk that the kids are gonna be like, well, okay, I don't care about them trying to have the world's tallest building. Give me more of the cat stuff. There's so much wrong with everything. Why was this movie made? Why would Kevin Spacey agree to this? You have House of Cards, you're a great actor, you're hilarious, but you choose this. Why? Oh, why? I'd compare this to something like The Room, where it's just so laughably bad you can get a kick out of it, but God, it just if I were to advise you to watch this movie, I wouldn't. I just don't let your curiosity get the best of you like it did with me. Just stay away. Don't even bother. Just no. I watched my number 1 movie as a joke. I shouldn't have watched it. Norm of the North. Why? Why does this movie exist? You know what's bad? When a movie's released in 2016 where Rob fucking Schneider plays the lead role in your movie. I could end the video right here. That's all I could say. Rob Schneider's in this movie and he's the lead role and he voices a twerking polar bear. There's nothing good about this movie. Every time you think that this movie might be going for something clever, it doesn't. It just goes for the same fucking twerking jokes, and the plot makes no sense, and it's just, it feels like a direct-to-video movie. Just plot-wise, the people they got in, the way this movie looks, it feels direct-to-video, which, ironically, it was meant to be released direct-to-DVD, but they're like, you know what, we can probably make a couple bucks off this thing, let's put it in theaters, and it didn't make any money. It was just, whoever thought it was a good idea, let's have a movie where a polar bear goes to New York City to try to stop houses from being built in the Arctic. And let's have Rob Schneider voice the main character, and he's gonna twerk to pop songs, and he's gonna have a really shitty reasoning given in the movie that he's able to speak to humans. Why does this movie exist? It may just be the worst animated movie I've ever seen, and there's some really shitty animated movies out there, but the fact that this was released in theaters in 2016, a year where we had 4 really good animated movies that all at least were mentioned in my best of video, and then this movie comes out. It's just, why? Why does this movie exist? I'll never understand it. I watched this movie as a joke because someone I watch on YouTube was watching it for a live stream, and I was like, you know what, I'll follow along, and I should have just watched him watching the movie because this movie was just horrendous. Oh god, if I reviewed it, may have given it one of my worst scores yet. I'm not gonna call it the worst movie I've ever seen, because I've kind of blocked most of it out of my mind, but oh god, don't see Norm of the North. It's not even a sentence that I should be saying. I think you should just by looking at the poster alone, you should think, yeah, no, there's no way I'm seeing that. But don't be like, you know what, it's gonna be funny, let's watch a shit movie on purpose. Don't. Just don't. Just don't. At least 9 Lives has some cutesy moments in it, and you got Kevin Spacey. With this, you got Rob Schneider. There's no winning here. There's no winning here. But I think that does it. Now I can never mention these movies ever again. Hopefully 2017 doesn't give us that much shit, but knowing every year ever there's going to be some crap to talk about at the end of next year, so hope you guys enjoyed my worst of 2016 video. Like I said, didn't see enough shit to fill up a full top 10, and if I did, you'd probably end up getting like Magnificent 7 or X-Men Apocalypse on there, and I don't want to include those because I like those movies. So leave your worst of down below, and hopefully 2017 gives us more gems than Norm of the North. AndrewTheUncommon signing out once again. Take care.